Hi, I'm Dan from the Historic Albany Foundation's Architectural Parts Warehouse in Albany, New York. We thought we'd start a series of instructional videos just to give you a little bit more knowledge about the old homes that you love and that you may own. If you're like us, you like to know all the names of the little parts and what everything does. That is not only enjoyable and satisfying, but it also will help you figure out what to ask for when you come into the Architectural Parts Warehouse. And what better place to start a journey than with a door? This door here is a panel door. It has these insert panels. There are 6 of them in this case. This is very typical for the house that it's in. This is a 1923 colonial in Albany. Panel doors come in a variety of arrangements and numbers of panels. There are 5 panel doors. There are Victorian doors, which have their panels running vertically, and colonial doors, again with vertical panels, and we can talk more about those in another video. The basic parts, though, of a panel door are, of course, the panels, the stiles, and the rails. And if you're like me, you're going to forget the difference between a stile and a rail. You're going to always be swapping them around. The way to remember it is stiles stand up and rails run right and left. Stiles stand, rails run. If you take a look, a lot of times these panels have what look like a bit of a molding running around them, framing them in. That's called the sticking. And they have a variety of different profiles depending on the door. The profile is just the shape of the trim, the molding. Then you will also have the stop molding on either side of the door that stops the door from swinging past where it's supposed to be. And then of course you'll have the lockset. That's the combination of the doorknob and the lock. In the case of this house and a lot of houses of this era, it's a mortised lock, meaning the lock has been cut, the wood has been cut into the lock style, board and set inside it, sandwiched inside it, versus being on the outside, being on the rim of the style. Some older locks were mounted to the outsides, well actually on the other side, the part where you want the privacy to be. Often on the outside of the door versus being set into the door. Now, sometimes in the Victorian doors, for instance, when you've got vertical panels, there will be vertical framing. Those are called mullions, just like they are in windows. As far as the benefits of a solid door like this, a panel door, goes, it's the aesthetics for sure, that's why we love them, but it's also a brilliant, elegant solution to seasonal changes in temperature and humidity. These panels float in these frames in grooves. They sit inside of grooves. The panels are not glued in, so if you ever take apart a door, try not to let the panels get stuck and don't glue them into the channels in the stiles and the rails. Because what happens is, as the temperature changes, as the humidity changes, the wood will expand and contract. And if you have slightly smaller panels inside of these frames, there's some room for that to happen without distorting the door, without making the door bigger for its space or leaving odd gaps. And that way the door won't stick or have those strange gaps around it. So that's one of the benefits. The other benefits are that the solid doors, the panel doors, are pretty good at insulating against sound transmission as well as heat transmission. Hollow core doors, you know that sound travels right through those. Likewise, fire. Fire slows down because it has to take longer to burn this solid wood. And then finally, if security is of concern for you, and you have an office, say, in your house, and you have a lock on it, and you have a panel door, it's going to take the burglar a bit more time to get through this than a hollow core door. Now, in terms of the lock set, you have, of course, the doorknob, which turns to open the door. you've got what's called the backing plate, or sometimes just the door escutcheon. And what that does is that covers the imperfect holes that, like for instance, the doorknob goes through, which is called the bore hole. And you know, keyholes aren't always perfectly key-shaped in the wood when they were cut in. But the hole in the backing plate, or the escutcheon, will be nice and finished. Sometimes you'll see houses where it's not a full plate, there's just a rosette around the doorknob, and there'll be just a keyhole escutcheon, a little decorative often bit of metal around the key. And then speaking of the key, often old homes have keys that look like this. People wrongly refer to these as skeleton keys. They have little teeth in them. It looks like our iconic vision of what a key should be. Maybe people think of, I don't know, Scooby-Doo and ghosts and skeletons and stuff and old things when they think of these very traditional looking keys, but they're not called skeleton keys. Skeleton keys are master keys. They are designed to be able to open a variety of locks that have been keyed with wards in them, or little obstructions that the teeth move. They've been keyed in a way that a stripped down key, a skeleton of a key, should be able to open. So for instance, if you were to look at other doors in this house, there may be more teeth. If those doors were keyed with warded locks, locks that a skeleton key could open, only a couple of those wards inside the lock need to be moved to unlock the door, and a skeleton key would just trigger those couple of wards. And so a skeleton key looks simpler and opens more doors in a house where the locks have been keyed for them. So we hope that this quick little tutorial is useful to you. Again, remember, style stand up, rails run right and left. This is the sticking, the paneling, the stop molding, and the lock set. We hope to see you around the warehouse. Have a great day.